I never expected one decision to drag the past back into my life with such force. I was just supposed to fix a problem and leave quietly, the way I always did. Years of working behind the scenes taught me that the safest place in the world is where nobody remembers your face. But that night, in a tower of glass and money, I learned how fragile that safety really was. The party was full of people who looked permanent, as if success had welded itself to their bones. Laughter echoed across marble floors. Expensive shoes moved without hurry, and conversations revolved around numbers that could change entire lives. I stood among them in my work clothes, a tool belt heavy at my side, already invisible to everyone who mattered. Then the sound system failed. The silence felt like an insult. Heads turned. Irritation surfaced, and suddenly I existed again. My supervisor demanded a fix, and he demanded it fast. I checked the system and knew the truth immediately. It would take time. Time these people didn't believe in. That's when my eyes drifted to the piano resting near the stage, untouched and flawless, like a decoration pretending to be art. I hadn't played publicly in years. Life has a way of squeezing music out of you, replacing it with responsibility and survival. Still, my hands remembered. Before fear could stop me, I sat down and pressed the first key. I didn't play to impress anyone. I played the song I wrote long before this version of my life existed. A song born in a small, cold apartment, written for a woman I believed was my future. Every note carried youth, hope, and the terrible confidence that love could survive anything. The room changed instantly. Conversations dissolved. People forgot their drinks. Even the air felt heavier, as if something honest had entered a space built on performance. I didn't look up until the final note faded. When I did, I saw her. She stood above the crowd on a private balcony, gripping the railing like it was the only thing holding her upright. Power and control slipped from her face, replaced by pure recognition. She knew the song. No one else could have. Within minutes, the party swallowed the moment and pretended nothing happened. The music resumed. The laughter returned. But she was gone. An assistant found me and told me I was wanted upstairs. My supervisor protested, but I followed anyway. Her office overlooked the city like she owned it. She stood with her back to me, staring through the glass. When she turned, I saw years of ambition and distance carved into her expression. "You shouldn't know that song," she said. "I wrote it," I replied. She denied it at first.
Said her husband created it.
That it was the foundation of his career, their marriage, their entire life. I didn't argue. I just showed her the fax dates, recordings, handwritten notes, proof I'd kept without knowing why. I watched her world fracture in silence. The truth didn't scream. It just settled. She realized the man she trusted had stolen more than music. He had stolen her reality. She asked what I wanted, already preparing to write a number large enough to erase the problem. "I want my name," I said, "and I want the truth." That frightened her more than any lawsuit. Exposing him would destroy reputations, companies, and the illusion that success always comes from talent. It would cost her, too. She understood that quickly. What followed was relentless. Lawyers uncovered patterns. Others stepped forward. My stolen song became the thread that unraveled an entire career built on deception. The man who seemed untouchable was suddenly cornered by his own lies. I lost my job, that was expected. One night, my daughter asked why my name was on the news. I told her the truth in words that wouldn't tea-break her, that sometimes standing up for what is right makes life louder before it gets quieter. She smiled and said she was proud of me. That mattered more than anything else. The legal battle ended the way lies usually do, slowly. Then all at once, the song returned to me, officially and publicly. My name followed it everywhere it went. I didn't feel victorious. I felt lighter. Months later, I received a message with an address and a time. I went. The place was an old, forgotten theater. She sat alone in the dim light. No guards, no assistants, no armor. Just a woman who had survived a truth she never asked for. We talked not about rekindling anything, not about blame, but about who we became after everything fell apart. We acknowledged what was lost without trying to rebuild it. She asked me to play again. Not the old song. Something new. I did. It wasn't polished or gentle. It was rough and real, shaped by years of struggle, parenthood, and survival. Music born not from dreams, but from living. When I finished, she nodded once, like someone closing a long chapter. We left separately. The city kept moving, but somewhere beneath it all, a truth had settled where it belonged. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel invisible, not because I was finally seen, but because I no longer needed to hide. Thanks for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, consider subscribing for more. See you next time.